Welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Patriot Punch Company in Camerado. Okay, it doesn't want to stream to Rumble, right? You sons of bitches.
Don't forget to turn on Facebook.
No, X.
No, it's Instagram that I have to turn on.
Instagram.
Thank you for that. Why is Rumble being a pain in the ass? Really? Get your ass out of there. You know, the one thing that sucks about Apple is the stupid bar at the bottom loves to move around. And I don't know why it moves around. So I don't know how to not make it move around because I've got the two screens. So it likes to jump back and forth.
Ray, what you been up to?
Not much. Just been bouncing all over the country. Just a little bit of that. Did a bunch of brass depriming today and ran them through the wet tumbler, and I got them in the evaporator now to drying them out. And tomorrow I'll probably anneal them and clean the primer pockets, etc.
Nice.
So.
Nice. I've been recovering, so I've just been bumming lately. So
yeah, getting ready to work in the yard. I've already mowed grass once this year, and
you mowed grass. I've been dreading that.
Yeah. And looking like I might go buy some fertilizer and fertilize the lawn. So
yeah,
that time's coming.
it is. It is. So, yeah, I've just been taking it easy and kicking back and relaxing this week.
Yeah. Getting ready for Easter, starting to make our Easter plans, who's going where and what we're going to cook and stuff like that.
Yes, Ken, helping you fix your shit.
Where do you live, Spud 76? Canada? Anyway.
What about you, Mike? What you been up to?
Work.
That 4-letter word. Yeah.
Yeah.
East Coast.
Now, Ken, we have fixed some of the problems. The gun fits into the action now. Excuse me, the action fits into the stock. The trigger hanger parts been taken care of. Now, if we just get a trigger that works, we'll be all right. The fun parts of doing a build.
Yeah, those suicide drills, I remember those. Makes my legs start to hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, doesn't sound like fun. Interesting. So, there we go, finally. Finally, it's live on Rumble. For God, crying out loud. Technology can get bent. There we go. All right, fine. And I got the dock back where it belongs. I should celebrate. Cheers. So this is the Reloading Podcast on Firearms Radio Network. We stream live on YouTube until they kick us off, and Rumble, and Utreon, or Player, whatever you want to call it now, and Twitch. Yeah, that's right. We're on Twitch too, just for fun. Plus Facebook.
And X.
Nope.
No?
No Twitter.
Okay. Good evening, Paul. Alaska Russ one. He's been out shooting his revolver, and he's been getting some good dime-sized scoops. Oh well. Don't worry about it. Dime-sized groups, at 100 yards are good out of a revolver.
I'd say that's extremely good shooting.
Yeah.
Good grief. Bear with me here. I'm having an issue. So anyway.
So what are you loading for, Ray?
Like I said, I bought a bunch of 8mm brass a couple weeks ago, and got a new load I'm wanting to try out. And
Okay.
plus, I think Nick's coming. I think Nick is coming. Nick and his sister coming over to our house for Easter, and I think we're going to go out to the range that weekend. Whether I shoot 8mm or we're thinking maybe take out our Argentines and film a video for our channel.
Nice.
With this separation, it's tough for us to form a video, but I think we're going to do one that weekend.
Good.
As if the weather cooperates that weekend.
Always. It's been cold here.
Yeah.
Cold and wet.
Like a dead hooker.
Yeah.
Oh.
Trumbo will be joining us, unfortunately, as he was starting to his wife put dinner on the table. So, and then we're going to have a guest at some point in time. So,
Well, that'll be good.
Yeah.
And we're going to proceed with Straightwall cartridges today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yeah. So, yeah. Ooh, they've got a... All right. There he is.
Ah.
Hi, Billy.
Howdy.
Welcome to the Reloading Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
You betcha. So Billy's a Facebook friend of mine, and he's got a business, and he's veteran. So I like helping out veterans and veteran-owned stuff. So wanted to have Billy on for a few minutes here to kind of talk about what he's got going with his business. So, Billy, it's a video plus audio podcast. So you can, if you've got stuff you want to show off, you can. Otherwise, you can just talk about it, and then we'll make sure we get the links in the show notes so everybody will get that.
Okay, most everything can be seen on my Facebook page. That's where I do all my business from. I don't have anything on hand as I'm out in my vehicle right now to get a little peace and quiet in the house.
I know how that goes. So tell us about the business. What's the name and what you do?
It's Billy's Custom Gun Ricks and Paracord Gear, and I do basic gunsmithing and accessorizing for the most part until I can get my FFL. And then I make paracord gear to kind of make ends meet, supplement my income. Well, that is my only income, but yeah, I make monkey fists, keychains, key fobs, rattlesnake key fobs. What else? Bracelets, multiple different kinds of bracelets, cross necklaces, and single and 2-point slings. And the single point slings convert into 2-point slings. That's something special I created.
Nice. Yeah, I've saw a lot of your stuff. I'm gonna get a couple of monkey balls come Friday. So when I get a little more money in the account, gotta wait for payday, you know. But so yeah, I definitely like what you got going there. So when you get your FFL, what's the goal?
Just do a little more advanced gunsmithing that I know. One of my jobs in the Army was a weapons repairman. If it was towed and went boom and smaller, that's what I repaired. 45
Okay.
Bravo. That wasn't my main MOS, though. That was secondary. My primary was a 63 Whiskey wheel vehicle repair.
Okay.
Where were you stationed?
I was in the reserves, so I was stationed out of Jackson, Michigan. Moved to Pennsylvania for a while. Was stationed out of Bloomsburg there for a few years, and I've been pretty much all around the United States, going to different classes. If my reserve unit said we have a spot open for this MOS, would you like to reclass? I always said yes, and send me. They usually came with a promotion and so on.
Nice. How many years, sir?
6, 1998 to 2004.
Okay. You didn't get sent overseas?
I did not. I was the only one who pretty much knew the motor pool, so they kept me around.
Okay. That's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
I was a bullet catcher.
Oh, yeah, 11 Bravo, eh?
12 Bravo.
12 Bravo, all right.
Yeah, you get out there in front of the 11 Bravos.
Okay, yeah, I had a couple 19 Delta friends who were Cav Scouts.
Uh-huh.
I never had the honor. I had plenty of friends that went in, but that's by the time my mother came down with cancer, so somebody had to stay home and help around the house. But I had plenty of friends that went off and did their time. So
Yeah, cancer sucks. I've had it twice.
yeah, it's not a fun thing to go through, and somebody had to help out Dad, and I was the oldest, so that was my duty.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the middle boy, and I'm pretty much the only one who made something of themselves. So I'm the one who the family looks to when they need something.
So your business, as far as to get have you applied for your license yet?
I haven't. I'm pretty sure I can get it, though. I've got everything squared away. A couple FFL friends of mine have helped me square all that away, and there's pretty much nothing holding me back except for the $300 fee.
Okay. So guys, get in there and buy some of his stuff so he can get that $300 free going.
Indeed. And you made sure you're in an area that's zoned, right? Because okay. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, you have to have, when you're going to open an FFL, whether it's your home or a location, it has to be zoned commercial or business. It can't be strictly residential, or the ATF will deny you every single time. Just so you know, and that's one thing I found, which is one of the things that kept me from doing it originally when I wanted to, because I was in an apartment in the city, and that wasn't going to happen. So,
yeah,
but that was one of those little details that they put in, like when they went after kitchen table FFLs.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
So, you're gonna get your what? 07?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
awesome.
and any dreams of lathe milling machine and all that kind of stuff?
I can do pretty good by hand with my drill press. I crank out a few Ghost AR lowers every so often, and so my machining skills are there. I'm thinking of picking up a lathe someday, maybe a Bridgeport or something like that.
Okay. That's good. That'll really expand your business as far as get the Bridgeport first.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just, it just works out until you can, learn. There's a long curve in learning how to chamber a barrel. So,
Oh yeah.
But once you get through it, it's pretty self-explanatory to do a good barrel. You'll end up lopping off lots of ends of 4140 and 416 to practice your reaming and your threading.
Okay.
But no, it's a good it's a needed business. And where are you at now?
I am in Northwest Michigan, pretty much smack dab in the Manistee National Forest.
Ah, okay.
Nice.
That's some nice territory there.
Oh yeah, a lot of good hunting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I got friends and family all over Michigan. I'm just across the lake in the land of beer and cheese. Cheer and
Oh
bees.
yeah. Yeah, we go to Wisconsin every so often because my family, they have a terminal genetic immune deficiency is only discovered in November of 2013, and by January 2014 they were diagnosed with it. And it was years that we were living trying to figure out what's going on with them. It caused my wife's liver to fail. She got primary sclerosing cholangitis, also known as Walter Payton's disease, and that took her liver. She had the transplant in '98, still going strong, knock on wood. And
awesome.
her brother had the same thing, and he had a liver transplant, and we ended up losing him Christmas of December 2015.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty serious. They get once a month, I guess you'd call it a booster. It's a about 8 hour long injection, well, IV injection that they get derivative of plasma to help boost their immune systems.
Oh, okay.
My whole family's afflicted with it, but my oldest son has a different mother, so he lucked out there.
There we go.
Okay.
All right. So I've got your links. I posted your links in both chats for Rumble and for the main chat. So that'll show up on the Facebook feeds, the YouTube feed, the Twitch feed, and then I posted it in Rumble. So we've got that going on.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. It's nice to meet you.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. Definitely glad to help. So
nice meeting another veteran.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Likewise, and thank you for your service, gentlemen.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And so anything else we can, hopefully we'll get you some people coming your way so you can get that FFL and get that part going.
That'd be great.
It would be awesome. So we need more FFLs, and we definitely need more gunsmiths too. So
yeah,
so appreciate you doing that. Yeah, I've got 5 years left at my current job, and then I'm retiring there and being a gunsmith. So
cool. Good luck to you with that.
Thank you much. And we'll appreciate you stopping by, and we'll let you go.
All right, then. You guys have a good night.
You too. Thanks.
Good night too, Billy.
Take care. There we go.
All right.
So yeah, it's Billy's Custom Gunworks. I think he calls it. Hang on a second. Let me pull it back up. Billy's Custom Gunworks and Paracord Gear. So, so we've got that listed in the chats. So
I'm looking at his Facebook site now. He's got neat bracelet. It's almost got like a barbed wire pattern.
Yeah, he's got some really cool stuff.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why we're not live on Player. So that's kind of dumb. I haven't really figured Player out. But we are live on Instagram. And literally live on Instagram, literally live on Rumble, and then Facebook and YouTube. We're live on don't know if YouTube's going to pull us again tonight, so we'll see. Okay, so last week we flared the case mouths. So we got that done. What's next?
We have to charge the cases.
What's that mean?
Oh, that means that taking the magic pixie dust and weighing it out so we know what the charge is going to be and putting that in the case.
Nice. So we got to take it out of this bottle.
Yep.
And put it in this. So do we just dump it in?
Well, you can just do that, but usually there's a book there that tells us what our charge should be.
Yeah, or on the bottle. So
the magic pixie dust can be a little dangerous there for
right. So we figured out on the bottle the charge that it lists. This is Hodgdon Tight Group. The charge it shows is a max charge according to a couple of different manuals we've looked. So what we did is we went and we actually looked and stuff, and we decided that we were going to do a charge of 4.5 grains. In 1 pound of powder, how many grains is there?
7,000.
7,000. So when you're trying to figure out how far your powder is going to go, there's 7,000 grains in a pound. So that means, calculator, just remember when your teacher used to tell you in school you weren't going to have a calculator available very often. Boy, were they wrong.
Said he did a charge of 4.5?
Yep.
It's 1,555.555555555.
So in other words, this powder is going to go quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
So
a good long day of shooting.
Especially considering I get 8 more up there. Yeah, I found out that Tight Group works really well as a charge. Now, here's the drawback. At 4.5 grains, that's a really small charge. So there's a really good chance of double charging the case.
Yeah.
True.
So what we're going to have to do first, Paul, because what we need to do, what are we going to do right away as soon as we're done putting the powder in the case?
Well, we got to cap it with a bullet.
Right. So is the die that's in the press going to work?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
So we need to fix that problem.
Yeah, we need to put the right die in the press. And probably, are we going to make a dummy bullet to see, or are we going to just?
We don't need to make a dummy.
Okay.
I guess we can.
Because if we make a dummy, we can then set the die up so we can all the time have a reference.
Sorry, I bumped the camera. Yeah, we should make I should show everybody how to make a dummy. I'm going to find a piece of brass. So, a dummy round, first and foremost. So first off, I've got to change this die out because that's I don't want, because I need to. I have a case, once fired, so you can see it's got a primer in it. I'm looking to see if I can get a remote for this, but I don't know if it'll let me autofocus or adjust it automatically or not. So, but this has got a primer in it, so we need to get rid of that because a dummy round should never have a primer in it, ever. Yep. Why is that? Because you want everybody and their grandmother to know there's no powder in this case. So we're going to take our decapping die, which has the little pin sticking out of it, and we're going to zip that back in. Doop. And we're going to resize this puppy so we get back to the right size. I suppose while I'm messing around. So the one thing I didn't do the last time I had this die in is tighten the
lock ring.
So let me enlighten it. So you can see the lock ring right there, the little brass in the black. So what that does, and I kind of explained it, but what that does is when I turn this back out, that lock ring doesn't move.
And that
so now, next time I go set it in, it's good to go. Because like this one, I get to put back in now, because in order to put a bullet in this thing, I got to flare it. So crank this puppy back down. You never horse on it, especially after you got your lock ring set. Because all you're going to do is wind up messing up your die. So take that back out. And then we want our actual bullet seating die. So this one doesn't have the moving stem. Some of them do. Is that a good picture?
Yeah.
Okay. So Paul, what's the proper setting for this?
Ooh, well, this we have to
alignment.
Look at. Well, first we have to look in the book and see what the overall length is going to be. And our manual will tell us. Yeah, I know.
Can we use any book?
Well, it would preferably to be for 115 grain round nose.
Yep.
So
I have this right here. This is the Hornady 9th. Because I was going to buy the 10th and they came out with the 11th. And I figured by the time I decided to get around and get the 11th, I figured the 12th's on its way. So 115 grain full metal jacket round nose. We are looking at a COL, which is cartridge overall length. You will also see it COAL because some people think overall is 2 words. COL is 1.100.
Okay.
So that is our goal.
All right. So move the die down now.
Okay.
Don't pull the handle down. Take the case out and pull the handle down. See how close you are.
The die base is right even with the bottom of the opening.
Okay.
So if you, like I just did there, I tried to turn the nut and it didn't work. That means that somebody, whoever used it last, which was not me, because I normally load 9 on my 550, had tightened this down. So just a quick thing with the Allen wrench. And here's the thing. Take your Allen wrench and put it back in your die box.
Mm-hmm.
So do I want it touching, Paul?
Put it touching and backing off a good 1/8 of a turn to a 1/4 of a turn.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a full 1/4.
Okay. Now back off the seating stem.
Okay.
That should be good. Okay. Yep. Now we got to find freedom seed.
So now I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. All right. So we have our projectile. We don't need that at the current second. Berries.
Yep.
I really love these bullets. They're berries, 115 grain round nose. I don't. Oh yeah, it doesn't autofocus, dumbass. So I've probably loaded a couple of thousand of these, and I haven't had any. So.
Okay.
All right. So
we're gonna put the case in the shell holder.
Case here. Bullet freedom seed there. Slide that puppy in.
Yep.
Now I'm going to put this in.
Yep.
And it sits right like I want it to because I flared the case properly.
Yep. Now we're going to raise the ram, lower the handle. We feel anything?
Right there.
Okay.
It is not all the way down.
Not all the way down.
The handle is not all the way down. Let me clarify.
Okay. So, raise the die up a little bit.
Always back the cartridge out before you do anything so you don't screw it up. What do you think, another 1/4?
Yeah, another 1/4.
Now, what some people will do is they will actually put markings on their dies using like colored pencils or markers or something at 12, 6, 9, and 3, so they have better gradients. If you've got one of the fancy micrometer seating dies, then you've already got an easier way to do it. Otherwise, what I do is I pick a spot on the stamping on the die and I use that. So, or you can use like on the lock rings here, it's got the brass set screw. You can use that kind of. So
a paint marker works good too.
Yep. Grease crayon or grease pencil.
Okay, let's try raising the ram again.
Okay, hang on a second. I want to move the light a little bit.
Ah, there we go.
I had it pointed on the ceiling, and it's just not giving enough light, so I had to move it. All right, so now we're going to raise the ram.
Yep.
Slowly. And this is the key. Slowly. And what I do when I'm doing this is once usually I do this all the way, but I was trying to keep my hand out of the way. But I'll have my fingers underneath the ram handle, so that way I can stop the scent, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want it slamming up into there. Okay, stop there. Still not all the way.
All right. Why don't we take let's raise the handle and get an idea where we're at right now with how far the bullet is seated in with our calipers, which is a much needed instrument to measure our overall length.
Ta-da.
Yep.
Make sure you always zero them off the bat and push hard. Make sure it's zeroed. And now what I want to do, because I don't have this actually seated, it's just sitting in there, but I want to check and see where it's at. So it's at 1195. So we need to get 95 thousandths squished, because our overall length is 1.1.
Right.
Now, I have not run it all the way up into seeing where the bullet is seated, because frankly, I don't want to have to pull it if we push it too far. So now, if we're not trying to push it too far, theoretically, the way it's set right now, it shouldn't. Right, Paul?
Yep.
Okay. So what we can do is we can safely run it all the way up. And now it's all the way up and in.
Yep.
And I hit, this is full travel. You notice I actually had to put some effort on it because that was actually seating the bullet.
Okay.
So it was actually pushing the bullet. Oh, and crimping the hell out of it. Wow. What the heck?
Wow. That's a 9mm die?
Uh-huh. Want to crimp?
Wow. And it measures?
Theoretically, it shouldn't have crimped at all.
No, not that far out, but
1.195.
So it did not touch the bullet. So
No.
all you felt was the crimp on it.
Yep.
So as much as it crimped at that far out from touching the shell holder, take it a whole turn and a half out the die.
1.5.
Okay. Do you have just a empty case?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be sized.
Okay.
You feel anything?
Nope.
Okay. Take the case out and let's see. And you got to focus your camera. There we go. So we have not touched the case mouth with where the die is set now, which means we still have to set the die for the crimp, but not yet.
Oops, wrong way. Okay. All right. Brass out.
Every die is law unto itself, guys. This one has a extreme crimp.
Yeah, it does.
In there.
I don't. Thank God this wasn't thank God this wasn't a straight lead projectile, Paul. Right?
For sure.
So I would have squished it. So, all right. So, what do we want to do now? I don't care if we ruin the bullet in the case, making the dummy.
Okay. Well,
because I'm not going to tear it apart and shoot it.
I would turn the lock ring down now that we have where we have it set temporarily, so we don't move much, and lower the seating stem so we can touch the bullet.
Okay.
Okay. We're
Now,
touching the.
it's not full travel.
It's not full travel?
Nope. Oh, yeah, it is. Never mind.
Okay. We've touched the bullet now. So I want you to take the back end of the calipers and measure the where the stem is sitting right now.
Like that?
Yep, all the way to the base of the die.
Base of the die or the top of
the top of the die?
Right there. So what we're measuring is we're measuring from here to here to see what it is. So we've got 0.640. So now what we're going to do is turn this down.
0.095, and we have to lower it down. You said 0.640?
Mm-hmm.
And we have to lower it down, so
good grief, this is a pain.
5 to, we have to lower it down to 545.
So this has a notch in it, so I actually had to turn it around. Okay, so I'm at 609 now. So you said 5 what?
609 is what you're at?
Yep.
Minus 0.095. So you have to lower it down to 0.514.
So you never want to actually take the lock nut off. But you do want to, sometimes you have to loosen it all the way up. And then just remember on the calipers, it's got a lock screw on here if you don't want it to move. Lock screw's right there. So I'm at 505, so I need to go up now.
And set your caliper with the lock screw at 0.514.
Damn it. This is the hard part, trying to get it that fine. Because just the smallest little twitch by your finger moves it a tenth. And I'm looking for thousandths. So when you're going to tighten the lock screw, you want to keep your thumb here, because if you don't, it'll turn it down. So So Paul's logic in doing this is that way I can just do this. See, I can turn it all the way down underneath, and then I can turn it back up until we're making contact. Then theoretically,
the webcam quit.
I don't know, battery did again.
There we go.
There we go. Probably just went to sleep.
Yep.
So finger on the top, work your lock nut. Have to use a wrench, and I think the battery's dead. So we're going to pause for a second while I change that. Hold that thought.
We tried with a new GoPro, guys, and the GoPro is not accepting the doesn't have the software to interact with the computer to so we had to send the GoPro back. And right now I'm not looking at spending $600 or so for a new camera. But it is in our future. Chris B, yes, you can leave the spent primer in and a red marker. Steal your wife's red nail polish. Any of those kind of things will help identify that the case is is a dummy. I like to use blue, but that's because I'm ex-military and blue was practice. So and there you go, Mike. You muted, Mike?
Of course I am. Because I'm a, as Carlos Mencia loves to say, dee-dee-dee! So what I'm doing is holding the turret or the cedar with my finger while I'm tightening the lock nut down with the other. So now I want to run it up. Ooh. So in case you want to know what happens if you try and seat a lead bullet without...
Got smashed a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
So.
With a heavy crimp on it, yeah.
So you can see copper goes shiny, not shiny. So, but I knew that was going to happen, and I don't care because I'm never going to fire this in a firearm. If you do it with lead, even with these, you could peel that off. You do not want to fire it as is, because that is dangerous. Because you can get it stuck and all sorts of other things. So now what I want to do is I just want to find out, did we hit it? So nailed it. 1.100, baby. So there's a trick for you, gang. I used to just do it a little bit and seed it, and do it a little bit and seed it, and do it a little bit and seed it. And it's a pain in the ass. So okay, so that can go away for now.
Okay.
So with throwing a powder charge, there's a few different ways you can do it. Okay. So you can go from the most of basics, which are the powder dippers, which is by volumetric. I'm not going to show you that right now, but this is you look up your powder on here, and then it'll tell you what dipper to use depending on what powder charge. It's not completely accurate because it's not using weight. It's using volumetric. So you've got your beam scale there. You've got a digital scale here, which is actually pretty reputable. And then you move over into like the IntelliDropper there. So that's like your automatic powder dispensers. I don't have, that's the fanciest I've got. You get into some people and they've got some ridiculously fancy stuff like Paul, Bench Addict. So where you're talking, Paul's scale and dispenser will go down to 2,000 or 200ths,
right,
instead of 2/10. So it's a lot more
accurate.
There we go. So I don't know. So for the beam scale, which is usually the one that most people wind up with as a basic starter, mine is sitting on a manual because if I set it on the ground or if I set it on the desk, the pan hits the desk and then it won't accurately read. So it's like the beginning of a bad Christmas movie. So as you'll notice, this is moving. So this here is moving. Is that light? That's a little bright. Whoops. Okay. That's why I have various flashlights on my bench. So you can see the white line here now. right there. Over here is a black line, and we want those to be straight across. But because this is moving, it's not going to. So what you can do is what I did there is just put your hand underneath to kind of dampen the movement. This uses magnetic dampening to keep the beam from bouncing up and down, but it doesn't have anything to keep that from swaying. So this is the way this scale is calibrated. It's 0 to 5/10, and then from here it's 0 to 500 grains. So that's how it works. And then it's got your ounce to grain conversions up here, a little chart. So if you need to figure out what ounces are versus grains. So, and this is actually made by O-House. When I'm done with this, the beam comes off and sits down here. The pan sits in here, and then the actual I don't know what is the technical term for this part?
Hanger. That's the hanger.
Okay, so this is the pan, and that's the hanger. So the pan and the hanger sit in here, and then it actually has a cover that goes over it. Now this is a check weight. So what I can do is I can hang this and I can put that over there, and it'll actually I can use it to calibrate.
Verify. It verifies the weight.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that because I moved it, and so it's not necessarily guaranteed to be balanced. All of your check weights will have a gradation on it. So this one is too close to the camera. But it says 500 grains. So.
Okay.
So what I should be able to do is put this in the pan. And when you're doing the check weights, you want to set it gently. And so what I should be able to do is I should be able to move this all the way to 500. And it actually has a notch that it'll sit in, so you want to get it there. And then it should balance out.
No, it won't.
It won't?
Take it out of the pan.
Okay.
Remove the hanger. Now put that on the end of the hanger.
Oh, yeah. Nope.
Your poise is still off.
Yeah, my poise didn't move.
Yeah, but you get your...
Oh, that's off. This is the only thing I do not like about that scale is that.
It should be moving. What's wrong?
I don't know. We are here to have problems, so you don't have to. What in the world?
One of the things with a balance beam scale like this is the knives that ride in the bearings on the scale, or I should say on the balance. Those are the knives, and they can get dust and things in them that will cause the beam to be slightly off. But I don't think that was the problem here.
No. So this one here, you got to kind of put that in first. And then you set it down on the knives. And then theoretically, with this placed back in, it should move.
Your poises aren't set.
There.
And you're not on 0, yeah. And the adjustment is there, that knob on the left-hand side that should adjust to 0.
There we go. Now we're at 0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I guess we Instagram disconnected for some reason.
We've been on an hour.
Yeah, but it didn't last week, so that's weird. Stand by. Freaking Instagram. So basically what I have to do with this is I have to remove the Instagram feed, remove the Instagram live stream, and then I have to re-add the new Instagram, and then add the live again. So. Yay. So, give me just a second here. Making sure it's up and going. Yeah, there we go. People are rejoining. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so we're back. So now what we need to do is we need 4.5 grains of powder. But before I do that, I got to find my powder funnel. So I use the Lyman. It's aluminum. And then what you can do is, this is for rifles, so theoretically none of them are going to fit. So basically, what I'm going to do in this case is I'm not going to put one in. I will just do this. So, and center it over the hole, over the case, and then pour the powder in. So, if you are using a loading block like I'm using with this RCBS, They are so low that I can't just set the funnel on top because they won't touch the mouth of the case. So what you actually have to do is take it out, hold it in your hand, and pour it in. So. Anyway. Okay, so do I pour the powder in and then try and weigh it, or do I set the scale for what I want the charge to be?
Set your scale for the charge you want it to be.
Okay, so that's 1 grain, 2 grains, 3 grains, 4 grains. And we want 4.5. So we actually want to go right there.
Yep.
And then this is a trickler. And so what this is a little device that you pour powder in here and you turn the knob and it slowly dumps powder out. The reason for using something like that is it then allows you to more accurately dispense the powder. So you pour a little bit in. And sometimes you pour too much. Now the nice thing is, if you smash the funnel down into the powder, it'll stop flowing for a second, and then you can do this. And you don't actually spill any. So the only drawback to that is I've packed the powder in now. So I actually want to dump that back out. So I'm going to take the funnel, put that on there, dump that all back out. And the reason I did that is because I don't want it packed in there tight. So, and then what I can do is this actually has a funnel built in, so I can actually pour a little bit in. And now it's not packed. So, normally what I would do is I have, like when I'm doing stuff like this, I have a little, like an old kid's teacup that I put powder in and then I spoon it in to try, or I use a powder dipper to kind of get close as an estimate. I mean, if you want, you can actually just grab your fancy dancy
powder trickler.
Yep.
And twist and shout.
Yep. And it'll actually throw, when you're cranking like this, it'll actually throw quite a bit of powder in one shot. So, and I think there's something wrong here because I have a big old stack of powder in there.
Whoa. We're just a little heavy there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and call me wrong, but those graduations on that beam, is that 10 or is that 50?
Which one?
On where where your main poise is, the large one.
Oh yeah.
Those are 10s, guys. Set that all the way back and then bring your poise over here to 4.5.
That's why it took forever to move and there was a whole crap ton of powder in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, that seems like a lot of powder for a 9mm.
Yeah, so. It was.
And that's why it's important to pay attention. And so. And just so y'all know, there are times I do this and I purposely screw up so we can show you what happens. If I screw up to accidentally screw up, I'll let you know. If I don't admit to it, then it was an intentional screw up. Okay, as it starts to move, back off. And then this is where you're going to actually use it in the trickle function, which is just small rotations. Just a smidge at a time.
A little heavy.
Yep. So what you do, lightly shake it out, and then kind of sift it back to the center.
Very accurate. Nice.
Mm-hmm. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my case, set it on the desk like that. So that way I can actually put the mouth over. And I want to set it flush and then pour it in. And tap it like that so you make sure you get off all the powder out of the pan. And then I'm just going to go right over here. And we're going to take one of these lovely freedom seeds. And we're going to put it right on it. And then we're going to turn the camera so you can see. So I put the case here, put the bullet on, run it all the way up. Bring it back down. Now the thing I didn't do is I didn't fix the flare. Right now it won't drop into a barrel. But what I want to make sure is that it's actually what it's supposed to be. And it's actually 1.077, Paul.
Oh, well.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to charge each case. We're going to seat all the bullets. And then we're going to fix the crimp. Okay? Because that's the way you should do it. You don't want to try and crimp and seat in the same stage because it's really difficult to get it just right. So, Paul, do you think we should back it out just a smidge?
I would back it out just a smidge.
Okay. So we're literally, because it probably happened when I was trying to turn down the lock. So I'm just going to literally go like, a 16th of a turn and we'll see what happens. 1.077 isn't short enough to need to worry about it being too short. So we just keep turning this and 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 turning this. Starts to move a little bit, turn a little more. And I'm only putting a few flakes in at a time right now. And the way this is literally a flake powder, so it's really hard to see it falling. If it was an extruded powder, I'd actually zoom in and you can watch it falling, but with being flake, it's really hard to see. And you got to watch yourself so you don't bump the pan. And that's the way it's supposed to work, kids. If you're doing this with rifle cartridges, it's a lot easier because the bottleneck actually fits inside the funnel, and so plus it's taller. So once again, right away over here, grab that bullet, get it on there, run it up, and make sure when you're doing this, you're using consistent pressure every time. Because if you push harder one time than you do the other, you're going to get inconsistent bullet seating, and then that's a problem. So because I made an adjustment, I'm going to check and see. So that's 1.088. So I moved it 11 thousandths. So I'm going to just tweak it a little bit again. You okay there, Paul? Having fun, Ray?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you surfing for milsurp stuff?
No, doing some work paperwork.
So we're all going to Vanessa's next month.
Yeah, she's smoking bacon.
She's smoking bacon next month, so we'll be all at Vanessa's next month. Yeah. So I did find something that I want to do. They love to do those pork bellies, but they braid them. Those look absolutely delicious. But I've also thought about just getting a pork belly to make bacon.
Make good burn. Pork belly makes good burn ends too.
Oh, doesn't it? Mr. Hornet, no. Don't seat and crimp at the same time. So I do not recommend seating and crimping at the same time.
In fact, I prefer having a separate crimping die.
Right.
Same here.
Now, I think the exception to that rule is I think on my Dillon 550, I think I am seating and crimping at the same time. So, but as a general rule, no.
That factory crimp die that Lee makes is probably one of their best products.
Yeah. So I went just a smidge over, so I'm just going to take a smidge out. I mean, if you wind up taking too much out, no big deal, just put it back in. So, but like before, when it was wobbling, I'm going to try and move the pan so it stops moving. And let it go. And we're just a smidge low now. So I'll take my this is an old one. It says Redding Hunter. I didn't realize it was that old. So, and I have my brass staged. Hi, Nick. Hey, Russ in Alaska, what's the score in the Red Wings game? You're supposed to be keeping me updated on this. Come on. All right, so then when we run up, and there's no harm in checking every time. That's one of the reasons I left the micrometer on. But I did make another adjustment, so. Boo frickin' yeah. Money.
You know that trick you did with the caliper on top that seating stem?
Yeah.
I've never done that before. You know, that'd be another good purpose to have a dial indicator mounted there. And far as setting your seating depth, that'd be awesome.
I don't know if you could. I don't know if you'd be able to mount a dial indicator to successfully pull that off or not. I guess it would depend on the press. But yeah, Paul and Jim, I don't know. I think they were both talking to me about it at the same time many moons ago.
Is
So
that pressed cast aluminum or metal, or the cast
cast
iron? Cast aluminum or
cast iron.
cast iron. So you can put a magnetic base on there.
Yep.
And just turn the seating stem with a wrench. That way you're not bumping the plunger.
Well, you've got a knurled end, so.
Oh, it's knurled. It's not okay.
It can be done with a dial indicator.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do that, or if you have a Hornady seating die, they make a micrometer seating stem that would work.
Yeah. But I like that caliber trick. I've never done that before.
It helps.
It definitely makes it easier. Not kidding. So. Normally, when I'm doing this, it's a lot more linear and not so hodgepodged all over the place. But I have it set up like this for being able to podcast. So I did bump it when I was pointing at it. So I'm going to double check it to make sure it's back. Because I did not lock it down. Because I was afraid to lock it down to bump it. So. And now we're literally 1.095. There comes a point in time where you just say, screw it.
Yeah.
So, and the same will work with this scale. So I don't know how well this will show up. Oh my goodness. Red Wings just scored to tie it up with 12.6 seconds left. Anyway, yes, I am a hockey fan. Yes, I'm a Red Wings fan. In fact, if you were to make me choose a sport that I had to root for the rest of my life, I would choose hockey over everything else, hands down. So, so with a digital scale, you don't want to move it around a lot. So I don't really want to move it. So what I'm going to do is kind of show you by popping the camera out and bringing it over. Because once you get them set, you don't want to mess with them. So you've got unit 0 calibration on off. And it has a dust cover. So it does light up, comes with a calibration die or a weight, check weight. So.
And you're on grams right now.
Yep. So I need to hit unit and go to grains, GN. So how calibration works usually is hold down and then it'll say cal, hit it, and it'll tell you to put the check weight, which is stuck. Wow. Huh, interesting. Hold that thought. What the heck? Wow, that's a tight fit. Okay. Good thing Jim's not here. He'd have got motion sick. Get one of those fancy boom arms. So I'll take the check weight, set it in there. But actually I shouldn't, because that shouldn't be on there. So we're going to start over with the calibration because I'm sure I jacked it up. Trying to get that weight out. So pass, so we're good. Set the weight back in. Now, for calibration, it did change to grams again. So I want to change that back to grains. And now we're calibrated. That's not going to work. That was a nice thought. So, so basically it's the same premise. And it's actually counting as I'm going up. Some of these electronic scales will not do this. That's why I like this scale. Because I can literally keep going up and up. And it's counting with it. Which is very rare for an electronic scale of this price range.
Which normally, one was that, Mike?
That's that National Metallic.
Okay.
That one that was on a heck of a deal. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to take this off. I'm going to set it back on and make sure it reads 4.5 grains again. Because I want to double check to make sure it's actually accurate. So,
what can happen is there's software in there that keeps telling the scale to go to 0. And as you add trickle powder into it, it doesn't, it'll read it, but it might be slow in picking it up, but overriding it to keep it down. And as he trickles in 4.5 grains, then he picks it up, puts it back down to see if it really is 4.5 grains.
And you'll notice as it's, you can't see it because I don't have the camera on it. But as I'm sitting here watching it, it's floating back between 0.5 and 0.6. So if you're concerned, pull it back off.
That's called the pinch method.
Yep. And that way I'm just, basically what it is it's right on that border. So like if we were using this scale, it'd just be like, just a hair under and kind of sitting there and just maybe moving just a little bit or just sit there just a hair. And so that's what I did as I pinched. And now it's flat 4.5. It's not moving at all. So basically what it is you're kind of on that in between. Good goal, Red Wings win. Major win. Because they have sucked the last 2 weeks. And just like before, put that over there. And seat it. So we're just going to do 5 for now, Paul.
Okay.
Because 5 is getting us our demonstration, and we showed both message that we wanted to show for dispensing powder. I want to show the crimping. So put your powder back. Don't leave powder in anything, because that's a bad idea. For 2 reasons. One, you can get powder degradation, but more importantly, powder laying around can be dangerous, because if I think this is I think this is a rifle powder, and it's not, I'm going to have a catastrophic failure.
1 powder on your workbench at any one time.
No more than that.
Yep.
Ever. I don't care how good you think you are.
Yep. And I use a grease pencil for marking up my if I'm running a Dillon and I'm using their powder measure. I use a grease pencil to mark what I'm loading.
Yep.
With the weight that I'm loading on and everything. So
what he's saying is he writes it on here. What the powder is and what weight the charge is.
Yep. And that's the only powder that I have out. It may be an 8-pounder, but it would be the only powder I have on my workbench.
Do not follow Ken Brown's advice unless you want to die. He is being facetious. So, all right. So we need.
Okay. Now we don't have a taper crimp die.
Nope.
From Lyman.
Nope, just this one.
Just that one. Okay. So what we're going to do is now we're going to back out the seating stem.
Yep.
Because we've seated all the cases where
we're going to.
Yep. Now then, we're going to have to put a case in the ram, and we're going to have to adjust the die down slowly.
So you're going to need your Allen wrench if you lock that nut down, which I did. So I'm going to go into my case. And in case somebody wondered what a seating stem looks like, this is another seating stem. Lyman sends a couple for different bullet types. So what you should do is you should actually make sure your seating stem matches your bullet. So how it fits like this. See, this one doesn't fit as well. So that's why I didn't use it. And usually you can just run your finger along and feel where the set screw is because it's not the same as everything else. And with the set screws, you don't really want to horse them down to tighten them in the first place. It's just to keep it from spinning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back that off. Good couple turns. Because I don't want I don't want to have the lock nut hit the base while I'm trying to adjust. So now, Paul, what do we do? Turn it down a half turn?
About a half a turn. And go from there.
Okay.
All right. Lower the ZRM. Feel anything?
A little bit. Better. So I don't want to crimp it like it was before. All I want to do is I want to take the flare out. That's all my goal is. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like this, and I'm just going to check it. And I'm going to check the spacing on it. Most of the time you can do it by feel. But then I'm going to check it against a flared case. So the flared case is 382. And the crimped case that I've got is 380. So it's 2 thousandths thinner. So it probably needs to go a little more.
Yep.
So, but not a lot. So I'm only going to go a quarter turn because I don't need a heavy crimp on this. I can still feel a little lip, but since we got the calipers out, we'll play with them. So now we're down to 0.377. So we're better, but not where I want to be. And if you're wondering where you really need to be, get your book out and check the diagram. Right, Paul?
Yeah, you can do that, or you can do what we call the reloading podcast plunk test, which is to use a 9mm barrel and see if the round falls into the chamber with a good plunk.
You can do the same thing with the L.E. Wilson case gauge.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a number of companies out there that are making chamber checkers that will hold 100 rounds, you know, or 6 rounds or 7 rounds. So you can check a bunch of them at a time.
Well, shoot. This is the problem with having such a disaster down here. Is I don't know where that went. Because somewhere in this giant mess, I have just a slide and it has a barrel in it. But I don't know where I put it. Oh, crikey. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know where that went. Because I had it sitting around here for that purpose. But I don't know. Maybe, oh, I know where I put it. I put it where it belongs. Which is in the garage.
You can use one of these, which is a case gauge ammo checker. And just put cases in and they fit. They stick above it. It doesn't work. So you can do that.
Now I just got to remember. Oh, I take my 365 apart. Oh, crikey. Anyway, forget that. That's going to take too long. So we're going to pretend. And we're good. So I can't show you the plunk test, but it did not fall out of the chamber. So anyway, so that's that. All right, gang. So that is the basics of that. Then I take a second case run it up in, inspect it. And the second one you'll notice right away because you're not doing increments. And to be honest, I can actually go down a little more because I can still feel a little bump. So. But once you get it set, it's just a quick pop like that. And ta-da. We've now loaded 5 full cases. They're ready to go and get shot. And when I shoot them at the range, I'll take the camera with and shoot some video. So, but there you go. So what I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to take this, tighten it back down. I'm going to take this, turn it back down. And then that way I can finish off those other 5 cases. So at another time, because we're running long. So want to take time while I've still got this camera up. Mentioned Patriot Patch Company. This is the patch of the month for March. We got a lovely little leprechaun here. A couple of MP5s, some NVGs, and he's cutting it up on a skateboard. So all luck, no skill. And then Ryan, when he does this, they make a sticker and the morale patch, and then they also include the original drawing. So, or a copy of the original drawing, I should say. So that's what you get when you have the patch of the month. Whether that's through Reloading Podcasts page and join up there and help the podcast out, or if you just join through the Patriot Patch Company site. Our other sponsor, which we're grateful for also, is Camerado. And hey, we believe everyone should look great in camo. That's just why Camerado offers a range of sizes, including larger options, because great style and comfort should be accessible to everyone. Ready to upgrade your camo game? Visit Camerado.com to explore the Camerado collection. And for our podcast listeners, use the reload at checkout for an exclusive discount. Camerado, where style meets wilderness. So this is an example of Camerado right here. Sean Heron designed this for hunting. He hunts in Colorado. He didn't like the camouflage options that were out there, so he designed his own. So there's a lot of different cool stuff in here. Comes in all sorts of different things. So we're giving away a $50 gift card on Discord, and then eventually we're going to give away a $50 gift card on the podcast to the live show. So that's kind of about it for tonight. Anybody got any shout outs?
No, just check Billy's site that we had on earlier.
Definitely.
He can use the help.
Definitely. So, and I'll have the link for that in the show notes. So, and like I said, I posted it in the chats. Oop, I don't want to do that. So, so yeah, I've got it in the original Instagram chat, which I think disappeared. But it's in the Facebook, the YouTube, the Rumble, the Player, and Twitch. So, and thanks to the people that have been joining Rumble, thanks to the people that are joining Twitch. So, Player is usually a few days behind for the upload. I'm working on getting everything over to both Player and Rumble from YouTube. So, so far we didn't get pulled. So maybe they just had a hair up their butt. But last week, a whole bunch of people got pulled on Monday and Tuesday. So maybe it was a new algorithm and it needed to settle a bit. I don't know. But yeah, let's see here. Just one last thing. It's Billy's Custom Gunworks and Paracord Gear on Facebook. So reach out, give him at least give him a shout if nothing else. So otherwise, if you're looking for some paracord stuff, pop in there. I think he's got some some like other stuff on there too for sale. So check them out.
Share them around, guys.
Yeah.
Send them out to your friends.
Yep. We want to get him that money so he can get that FFL. We need more FFLs. Yep. So speaking of FFLs, if you're looking to get your own, check with Rocket FFL. It's Ryan Kleckner's deal. Kind of helps you get set up with your FFL, walks you through it all. So for a minimal fee. So I also want to take time to thank Sean and everybody at Firearms Radio Network for giving us a place to hang out every week and do all this. Thanks to everybody who's on MeWe and Discord and Facebook. Thanks to all our Patreons. We greatly appreciate everybody. Just a note, I will be at NRA convention. I don't know who else is going. If anybody else from the show. If not, fine. Honestly, the only reason I'm going is because I'm meeting up with a couple of podcast listeners, one of which I've been trying to meet up with since basically the first 3 months that we started doing this. So we've had a couple of meetups planned, and either something comes up on his end or something comes up on my end, and we've had to cancel. So Lord willing, we actually get to meet each other face to face this time. So more importantly, tickets for GunCon go on sale March 26th at 6 p.m. at guncon.net. 26th.
26th? Okay.
Yeah, I got an email from Jonathan Patton today, March 26th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
GunCon tickets go on sale. So at guncon.net, if you want to go to that, that is June 29th, Saturday. It's at Brownells. You get to wander around Brownells a little bit, see behind the curtain a little bit. A lot of panel stuff. You can go to the Gun Collective's YouTube page and kind of see some stuff. I think they've got some video up and stuff. Otherwise, they live stream it as well. So it's a pretty awesome time, though. A lot of vendors. The vendors are there, kind of a little more personal setting, kind of a little more exclusive vendors and stuff. You can ask questions. Frankfurt Arsenal was there last year, so that was kind of fun. But it's in Grinnell, Iowa, so it's kind of center of the country. So it's only it's only a 4-hour drive for me. So, but all right, gang. On that note, keep it brass shiny.
Teach them shoot and reload when they're young.
Grandpa told me, he said, don't listen to your mama. Violence does solve problems.
Especially when you use high explosives. Support the Second Amendment. Make sure you're letting all your elected representatives know how you feel about the second and how you feel about them voting on stuff against the second. Also, be nice when you're doing it. Don't threaten. Don't antagonize. Don't do anything like that. We need to prove that we're the better group. We don't want to lower ourselves to our enemies' level where we're name calling and attacking and everything else.
We want to threaten to vote for his primary opponent.
Yep.
So that's all.
Yep, his or her primary opponent, and make sure you're, and if you've got time, work on that. Work on that opponent's campaign too, and let them know that. So
look, we have Brian Herrera, who is in a runoff now in Texas. A 3-term incumbent, and we have a solid 2A person who is running now.
Yep. Also, get involved with your state, your local and state organizations. Sometimes some groups have counties or city groups. Get involved in your state groups. Find some national groups to support too. I won't tell you who. You make your own decisions on that. So, all right, gang. Most importantly, if you're struggling, reach out, 988 or 1-800-273-8255. Reach out, get some help. If you see somebody you think is struggling, interesting posts on social media or interesting comments made when you're around them, kind of talk to them. Don't accuse anything. Don't be accusatory. Be supportive. And if you want, you can usually get a hold of different. There's like a basic set of questions you can ask if you think somebody's potentially suicidal or into self-harm. There's some questions out there. I don't remember where to find them, but I'm sure if you contact your primary physician, even they can get them for you. That kind of give you an idea. They're open-ended questions. Never ask yes/no questions. Always open-ended questions. But you kind of want to get an idea. A lot of people hide it well. So I've seen 5 Facebook posts in the last 2 weeks of people that have ended it. And we want to make sure we reach out and get those people help. It's no different than somebody's got you see them with a bleed. You want to stop the bleed. We want to stop the mental bleed. We want to get those people help and get them better. So you can't force them though. So keep that in mind. All you can do is share the information and let it go from there. All right, gang. Thank you much. Appreciate everybody that tunes in. Everybody that listens to it when it's on the audio. We are grateful. It's 10 years and it's absolutely amazing.
10 years and only one strike, guys.
Right? Oh, I can't do that too loud. The dogs will bark. But I mean, honestly, from day one, it's been against the TOS. So, but I mean, this is the first live I've ever had pulled. I mean, I've had a couple of demonstration videos pulled, but this is the first live. So, just grateful for everybody that tunes in, all the different ways. I mean, you got Instagram, we've got. It used to literally just be YouTube and Facebook. Now we've got YouTube, Facebook, MeWe, Discord, Instagram. I have no desire to do Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I really don't. I guess if we get enough people requesting it and enough better be at least 100, then I'll look into it. So, but anyway, gang, take care. Good night.
Good night.